3:30 Central.
We're just getting that out of the way.
Right we're just getting that out of the way. So every Monday, 3:30 Central, you have your lovely host, Ferris, and the other guy, Ben. We basically, sit up here and we talk about real estate and multifamily.
I'm the brains of the operation.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, of course, Ben, of course. So with that said, what are we talking about today, Ben?
Man, you can't even say that with a straight face?
I can say it with a straight face, don't worry, my friend.
Killing me, man. You're killing me. All right, so we're talking about how to make an offer on a multifamily property. And I would say that some of the stuff that we're going to go over is also just going to be indicative of a commercial real estate offer in general.
And we've made an offer or two in our careers, right?
A couple, right? We probably made a couple this week.
Yeah.
It's only Monday.
Absolutely. I'm talking to a broker earlier today about receiving an offer too, so both ends of it.
I'll take it. So yeah, and that's actually a good point. We'll see if we can spin through this because people that own deals, what to expect whenever you're putting your deal on the market too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna hop right into it. So making an offer on a multifamily real estate property, right? I think first and foremost, you're gonna have to get all the details from the broker, right? Most of the time, you're not gonna be working with the seller. That's a misconception, especially when you're talking about bigger properties. 99% of the deals that are getting done, folks, are going through a broker, some way, shape, or form. Maybe it's off market, maybe it's on market. The broker is facilitating that transaction.
Yes.
And as part of their fee that they're getting, they're going to collect all of the data, the financials, maybe put a packet together in terms of what's called an OM, an offering memorandum. Maybe some other salient points that they're then going to shop around to potential buyers, right? So you got to underwrite those deals, right? And what does underwrite mean for the people that are kind of new to our show? And
you're analyzing. So underwriting is just a fancy word for analyzing. Whether you're an insurance guy underwriting a deal that you're about to insure, or you're a syndicator and you're about to buy a deal and you're underwriting the deal you're going to buy, or you're a lender and you're about to provide the debt on a deal that you're about to provide the debt on. It's just analyzing.
You're determining, what the returns are going to be at the end of the day, right? And do they fit that box, right, that you're looking for? Whether you're buying it on your own, right? Your box could be different than if you're syndicating, right? Or if you have a fund, it could be something different too, right? It's all about the deal and the numbers, right? So you have to underwrite those, and that's usually phase one, right?
And that's what usually takes up the most time.
That is what takes up the most, or at least the financial due diligence.
You're looking at 100 deals to find one deal that might make sense.
Yeah, so you're underwriting the deal, right? Does it fit your box? Okay, yes it does, right? Now what do? Most of the time you're gonna do probably some more upfront due diligence in the form of doing a property tour, if it's on market or if you can, even if it's off market. You're at least going to try to drive by the property, or if it's out of state, you're going to find some boots on the ground that can go drive by the property, get you some pictures, find out the condition of the property, right? And then ultimately find out what the condition of the submarket is. You're never going to know that until you drive around. Don't trust Google Maps, don't trust anybody else. Go and try to lay eyes on it, or have somebody that you trust lay eyes on it.
Speaking of true story, there was a deal that we were looking at in Atlanta. Atlanta doesn't have a lot of Starbucks in South Atlanta, which is where we're looking. And I was out there, and basically there was a deal that if you street viewed it, it was really close to essentially a boarded up, I think it was a church. It was an old boarded up church. Well, but if you were there in person, you would have seen that that's actually getting redeveloped into a Starbucks. So most of the people that never went out there would have just done what most people do, look it up on Street View and you think that's it. But I knew it was a Starbucks that was getting built there, which is going to, obviously, that shows that there's a lot of value happening in that area. Starbucks is willing to invest in there, and that would lead to other things. And so,
yeah, I would say, folks, this is a crazy fact. In South Atlanta, there's less than half a dozen Starbucks. And the whole, and this is
like less than 3 in like the immediate south.
Yeah,
you go further out,
you go a little bit further out south, but in the immediate.
Ask us how we know about all the Starbucks.
And we just happen to buy one that's close to there.
We are not I got to ask this. We are not sponsored by Starbucks yet.
We're good try.
If anybody knows,
we're taking a shot at it.
If anybody knows Starbucks sponsors, let us know.
There we go.
So before you continue, Mondays are every Monday, 3:30 Central.
Yep.
We're talking about making an offer on a real deal and kind of talking through what that process looks like. If you have any comments, questions, leave them. We'll answer them here. It doesn't have to be about today's topic. Usually we'll do about 15, 20 minutes presentation, then 10 minutes Q&A.
Yep.
So with that said, let's really quickly go through some comments. Chat says, hey guys.
Hey chat.
Ronnie says, what's up? And Ronnie, what's up?
Ronnie.
Ernest says, good day, guys. Keep up, great job. Much better than Clubhouse. Thanks, Ernest. We'll take it.
I don't know anything. I've heard of it. I don't know. I've never been on there. I don't know. Ronnie might say otherwise.
You're not part of the
I know he's a big Clubhouse guy.
Let's see. So Iggy says, what's up? Jefferson says, how you doing? We're doing well. Hey, Iggy says, what's up? What's up, Iggy? Thanks for the investments.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jefferson says, have you tried paying someone that you get from Craigslist to go to an apartment and 1 hour worth of their time to take video and pictures of outside the complex and upload somewhere?
You could. You absolutely could.
We've done that. We've had someone do drone footage before, so we've done that.
I mean, I guess maybe he's talking more on the upfront. You just have to weigh your costs, right? Because if you're looking at 100 deals a month, you don't want to pay somebody 100 times to go look at it. So some of this stuff's on the leap of faith, but you ultimately want to try to develop some boots on the ground. The other thing that I always tell people too, because they're always like, well, how do we do this in another city? And it's going to take some finesse, or it might take a deal or two down the road. Your property management company will also tour deals for you on your behalf. Or maybe a general contractor will tour the deal.
Yeah,
they can at least,
that's a good point.
At least give you the condition. Hey, we looked at a couple of units. This is what they look like. Those two are trusted advisors to your team, right? So if you can't get out there, you don't have any boots on the ground, you can ask a property management company. Now, the expectation is that they're going to get the deal if you win it, right? And they're most of the time only going to do that for current clients, but it's always worth an ask, right? So
like I tell Ben, it usually does not hurt to ask about anything in life.
It surprises me sometimes. Sometimes people are just kind of
all the time. For the record, let's keep going.
So you got to do your upfront due diligence, right? Because the numbers are important. But that's only part of the process, right? Yeah. Then you got to kind of verify, right? That okay, is for example the CapEx number that you analyzed it to, right? 5,000 a door, 4,000 a door, whatever. Is that actually where it's at, right? Maybe it's a ton more, maybe it's a ton less, right? So then if you say, okay, hey, all this is starting to match up, stars are starting to align, what are you going to do, right? We always say you obviously need to have a team already put together. You need to start kind of determining, should I go ahead and look at a term sheet for this deal? And a term sheet, for folks that don't know where that is you're going to a mortgage broker, you're going to a lender, and you're getting terms for what that loan is going to look like, right? How much leverage or how much loan proceeds are you going to get? What's my potential interest rate? How many years of IO am I going to get? How long of a term is it going to be, right? You need that to start fine-tuning the underwriting or the analysis that you've done. The other thing too is you need to get an insurance quote, right? So those are some of the big things that you have to understand to make sure that those numbers are going to ultimately align with where your box is, right? We're going back to that box, right? And one place to get your insurance quote, if you're here in Texas, q.strategicinsurer.com. Check it out. It's a great automated tool that we use. Some friends of ours have put it together. Less than 3 minutes, you get your quote. Yeah. So, something to take into consideration.
And that's the thing. There's some things that you should validate before you get under contract or submit an offer. Yep. There's some things that you can validate later.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, we kind of pencil in debt until we get to further along in the process, right?
We've also been doing this for years, right? So I think I agree with you 100%.
And the insurance is the other thing where we kind of have an idea of what insurance is in our markets.
Yep.
But again, it gets to a point where you need to qualify and verify that. And so I think that applies to a lot of these things. This is where the team matters. So having the right team around you can ask the quick question like, hey, so-and-so, I know debt is usually this, but this deal is really weird. It's got purple walls. Is that going to affect the debt? You might ask the question for the one-off that don't fit that box that's usually there. Yep. And having the right team there, is valuable because then you can ask those things without them having to go and do a deep dive on it, right? And it's really, I like to say pass the sniff test. Make sure you kind of sniffed each of the important things that matter before you get under contract. And then you start to kind of dot the I's.
This is what jams up the analysis paralysis, folks, right? They want to cross every T and dot every I before they will make their offer, right?
That's fine with me, all right? I want people to go spend their time doing the other things. And
because we're going to swoop in, swoop in and we're going to make that offer, folks. There's, in this day and age, there's expediency sometimes wins the deal. You have to understand that, right? You cannot sit there and wait until all the stars align before you can make that offer, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a letter of intent. It's a non-binding document, right? So let me kind of step back and, okay, you've got all your ducks in a row, you've analyzed it, you got all your soft quotes, everything kind of, everything's looking good on the deal, right? What's going to happen, right? If it's an off-market deal, you should go ahead and slide that offer in as quickly as you possibly can, right? If it's an off-market deal, there might be an official call for offers, and in that case, you want to ask the broker, hey, can I send in a preemptive offer? They might say yeah or no, or if you do, it has to hit this or don't even bother, right? And so that's just a discussion that you're going to have with the real estate broker, right? And if it is a waiting for a call for offers date, you then submit your LOI. They're going to size up the offers depending on the strength of the offer, the strength of the team, the strength of the terms, right? And then they're going to usually call a best and final, right? Where they're going to pick the best 3 to 5, depending usually on price is the main thing that matters. And those people go to best and final, where there'll be another layer of due diligence that you're going to have to do. There's going to be sharpening of your pencil, and they're ultimately going to beat you up to try to get your price up as high as they possibly can. And then finally, they'll pick a winner. On an off-market deal, it's a lot more informal. They're most likely just going to pick somebody. And then you know, at that point, you go straight into the purchase and sale agreement negotiation part of this process, right? So today we're just talking about making that offer. And I've talked about this in the past. It's all a numbers game, right? You have to make 100 offers to get into 20 best and finals to potentially get one deal, right? You know, now the numbers might be slightly off on there, but right now, as hot as multifamily is, right, you have to really be, it has to be numbers driven. You can't just put an offer or two in every month and then expect to win a deal. Unless you're just prepared to pay up, you're never going to win anything, right? You know, so you have to constantly be underwriting deals. You have to be constantly making offers to hopefully finally get some deals going, right?
Yep.
So
totally
that's
agree.
the most important thing.
Have a system, have a process,
Yep.
execute.
Have a team, right? And if you say, hey, I don't want to go hire people, I don't have a partner, you know, the team can also be these other people that, you know, that want you to close, right? Your mortgage broker, your general contractor, your property management company, your insurance, you know, broker. All of these folks want you to close, and they're going to try to give you the right data to make the informed decisions so you can get to that closing table, because that's when most of them get paid, right? So at the end of the day, you have to have a trusted team as well around you. So that's kind of making an offer, right? What did I forget?
Let's think. I mean, what else? So we talked about the best and final. You want to quickly talk about what the transition is after best and final into execute a PSA? Let's just talk about that.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So you've got an LOI.
I got plenty of good points, Ben.
Hey, buddy.
I don't know why you keep reminding me.
I'll just pat you on the back for a second. All right, there you go. Pat it on the back, all right?
Brush my shoulders off.
So you've got an LOI. It's non-binding, right? You can, the seller can sign that, and then the next day can award the deal to somebody else. It's non-binding. That's the whole point of it, right? But in the LOI, and we'll kind of go through this in a future, show. You know, you're going to have your terms and your conditions on top of your pricing, right? Those terms and conditions are going to be the basis of your purchase and sale agreement. So after you sign an LOI, now we won't get into early access agreements. I'll get into that next week, right? But let's just say you go straight into the purchase and sale agreement negotiation. That is the binding document, and that's going to go from a 1 or 2 pager to a potentially 10 to, we've seen them as long as 100 pages long. Right, where it's going to talk about every possible scenario that could potentially blow up the deal and who's going to be responsible at the end of the day, right? But the main business points that are going to be in your LOI are going to be incorporated into your PSA. Once you execute the PSA, that's your effective date. That's day one. Now you usually are going to have anywhere from 30 to 90 days to close the deal, right? But that's always day one. You're getting shot out of a cannon, right? So that's kind of the process. Yep. You know, and usually between LOI and signing the PSA, it's usually, everybody always says, oh, we want to get it done in a week. It usually takes anywhere from, I'd say, 10 to 20 business days. Just because you're dealing with lawyers, there's a lot of back and forth, there's red lines, you know, you're negotiating an agreement, a contract, right? And that sometimes takes a while, especially depending on the lawyers that are involved. Right, because they like to rack up billable hours. That's just what lawyers do.
Hey, let's not.
No, we have a lot of lawyer friends. So no offense, they'll probably agree to it. You know, but that's what it is, right? They're trying to look out for everybody's best interests, and so that's what they do. So that's kind of the process, right? You know,
So if you're a buyer, has any comments, questions, let us know. Right, Mondays are every Monday at 3:30 Central. 15, 20-minute presentation.
Absolutely.
10 minutes Q&A, and we're reaching that Q&A piece. And
that's why I drink this coffee, folks. I'm trying to blow through this as quickly as possible, because the most interesting part of this is when people actually have questions. It's more interactive.
I totally agree. Right? So if you have any comments, questions, let us know. We're happy to kind of talk to them.
Anybody?
So let's see. Anybody. This is going to be easy.
No, we're gonna do some more talking if they don't come back with anything.
Going once. If not, going twice.
We're not wrapping it up early, all right, buddy?
All right, here's a question from Steve. Do you have a LOI template that you typically use?
If you want to email me, you can email me.
Yeah, when we have a standard LOI template that we use, we can send a copy of that. And really, what does an LOI template have? Maybe that's an important thing.
Yeah,
maybe highlight that, right?
You know, I think that's a good point, right? You know, you're going to have...
I told you, I have plenty of those good points, Ben.
I already patted you on the back once, all right? I'm not doing it twice. Okay. All right, so you're obviously, first and foremost, it's your price. How much earnest money are you going to put down? Is any of that earnest money going to be non-refundable? How long is it going to be to close? Do you have
how long is it going to be to execute the PSA?
Yeah, how long is it to be the PSA? Then close. How long is it going to be to close? Then do you have any extensions, and how much are those going to cost? right? What else? Sometimes you're going to have some miscellaneous stuff depending on the deal. Like we've had some off-market deals where we haven't really seen up-to-date financials, or we haven't toured the property, and sometimes just as a little bit of a way for us to protect ourselves, we'll put in caveats like we'll not execute PSA until we've done a property tour and seen up-to-date financials, right? Because ultimately you can add in whatever you want, but if you come in there with a 15-page LOI, you're going to scare pretty much everybody off. So I always try to condense it to one.
It's non-binding, and so you're trying to highlight the key things that once you go to a PSA, which is binding, you've already outlined those so that they're not coming as a surprise.
These are business things for the most part, right? You're not trying to get into legalese. Like once again, your lawyer is going to do all that.
You can even do something like, I require that I get to keep the staff. You could actually say that in an LOI, and then you could say that in a PSA. You could say that the seller is going to replace all the front doors as part of the LOI, and then you get that in a PSA. So it's really mentioning the things that you, as a buyer, care about, that the seller cares about or might want to know about, right? So really, that's the standard terms. We're talking about price, those things, and then it's also anything that's like more of a gotcha, like, hey, seller, I just want you to know, before I waste any of your time, I really care about these two things.
Yeah, no, and you should, right? Because ultimately, you're just every second that you get closer to closing, you're wasting money of your own. So you have to be careful about that, right?
Absolutely.
So if retaining the staff or they have to replace all the doors is a deal breaker for you, go ahead and get it out there. Right? Because if you don't and you wait until PSA, now you've engaged a lawyer. The lawyer's going to want a retainer. There's going to be money involved. You're going to be wasting money. You might as well just get it out of the way first and foremost and show them that that's what's important to you.
Yeah.
And that all of this gets incorporated in the PSA, and then it's not a surprise, right? Because a guy might come back and say, screw that, I'm taking all the doors. Or I don't have the money to spend on the doors. Why would you even ask me to do that?
Yep.
Right?
All right, let's keep going. So Nilesh says, any lawyers you recommend in Houston for both transaction and SEC work? Nobody in Houston that does both, but lawyers that we've used that we recommend: Dugan Kelly, Gene Trowbridge, and Merrill Callister. So 3 firms that we've used,
and they're all
good,
great.
Sharp people, great people. Highly recommend them.
Very, very smart guys. So I'd look all them up. They're all online. They mingle in all of our circles. So and they all do very, very good work.
Absolutely. Let's see. Next question: do you provide a short cover letter? Why you are the right buyer, along with the LOI?
You could, and I know Eric Upchurch does something kind of creative. I mean, he's kind of military guy. They have a video that they send along. It just depends, right? If you're starting off and you feel like, hey, you need to really sell yourself to get your first or second deal, then maybe. We don't do that, right? Because at the end of the day, we're working with brokers that know that we can close. We already have the reputation of being able to close, so we don't really need to talk ourselves up. But there's bigger institutional guys that we've gone up against, and we have to do a seller questionnaire as part of the best and final, and we have to get on seller interviews as well, right? Where we have to talk up Disrupt Equity. Why should I award you this deal versus the other guy, right? And that's when you really have a time to shine, right? Versus a cover letter may or may not get you to the next phase. I don't know. It probably can't hurt though. Right?
I totally agree. So let's see. So any more comments, questions? So Money Mondays is every Monday, 3:30 Central. We usually do about 15-20 minute presentation, 10 minutes Q&A. We're in the Q&A section. Feel free to ask questions, anything you guys want to ask about anything. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for questions.
All right, we're talking about our toolkit. And we've talked about this in the past, right? Where we put all of our checklists, all the webinar replays, all the podcasts that me and Ferris have been on, right? And more on the toolkit. So check us out, disruptequity.com/toolkit. You get all that for free. We're not trying to sell you anything. Pop in your information, boom, there it is, right? So it's got a lot of good information all condensed into one thing.
Yeah.
So
there's a $5 off coupon for taking Ben out to get a coffee. So
hey, my coffees cost $5.57, all right?
Let's see. So any more comments, questions? If not, we will call it a wrap. Also, what else do we got coming up?
Whoa. We ain't wrapping up. Nice try. All right. So as everybody knows, we got our conference coming up February 27th, the Multifamily Investor Network. So we're putting it on right here in Houston, right up the road from our office. It's going to be the 3rd time in Houston. Last year we had the mayor, had over 400 people.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great speakers, a lot of great panelists this time. We're still gunning for the mayor too.
We don't want 400 people. So.
We don't want 400. We're doing this COVID safe, folks, right? So we're obviously going to condense how many people are going to be in. We're getting a bigger room. We're going to give masks as part of your, your ticket price, right?
Swag bag.
And a swag bag, right? And we're giving you $100 off. right? There's some pretty good value. So put disrupt into the checkout. So check it out at mfinvestornetwork.com and you'll get your $100 off on the ticket. It's a one-day event. We also have a Friday night networking that we will be doing.
And
but
it's
people
getting close
really
to
like
selling
it.
out. So it's actually, we've gotten more interest than we realized. So I think people are hungry for events. And so if you're interested, first come, first serve, definitely give it a check out.
Yeah, no, we got some good people coming out and some great panels. So you're not going to learn everything about the business, but we're certainly going to put all the vendors and a lot of good contacts that at least give you that foundation to really go out and learn the business the right way.
We got one question before we wrap up. Do you send in the LOI to sellers/seller's broker, or do you have your attorney send it?
No, absolutely. Do it yourself. Try not to involve a lawyer
until you're executing a PSA.
Yeah,
right?
because it's just, once again, he's gonna charge you 30 minutes just to draft that email and send it off, guys.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and send that, and
Yeah, LOI again is non-binding. You're just trying to highlight the key stuff. Once you get to the PSA, then definitely get your attorneys involved. That is a binding contract.
The one thing I'd caveat on the LOIs, right? I know it's non-binding, and some people get a little loose with it, right? Don't just throw in an offer or throw in a big price just to try to tie up the deal and then think that you can renegotiate. Yeah. That is the quickest way to burn your reputation in this business, because the broker's going to be mad, the seller's going to be mad. Nobody in the transaction is going to like that. Now, if there's a legitimate reason why you need to renegotiate, then that's another story, right?
Yep.
But we also see people where their whole MO is to try to throw in that highball offer to try to tie up the deal in hopes that they can beat the seller down on price, right? And it doesn't work like that, right? You're just going to piss people off. So, put in an offer that you can commit to, right? That's the most important thing.
Yeah, don't waste people's time in this industry.
Oh my gosh.
Things can go on for a long time and take a lot of time, and the last thing you want to do is waste people's time. So
nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So anything else, man?
I think
We're
that's
good?
it.
We wrapped through that pretty quick.
Going once, we're almost right on time. So
all right, so what are we talking about next week, man?
We are talking about whatever's on the screen, Ben.
Hey, you're supposed to read it this time.
Multifamily real estate transactions.
Oh. All right, you're the negotiator.
I'm a negotiator, and I may not even be here next
Monday.
Monday, so we'll see.
All right, well, then he'll give me some tips on how to talk about negotiating, some tips. But no, we'll talk about that. I think that's also important, because there is a little bit of an art to this, right? It's not, obviously the numbers matter, but also it's a relationship business too. We always talk about it. It's a 50-50 game. And so, obviously the art of negotiation and having good relationships is going to help you get your offer across the finish line.
I totally agree.
All right.
So with that said, we'll call it a wrap then.
Go ahead and wrap it
Any
up.
more comments, questions? If not, going once, going twice. And that's it. Brad, you're welcome as well. So thank you guys very much. We'll see you next Monday, 3